Welcome back to part 5 of our Growing Guide series. In this video, we'll be chatting all about proven winners perennials. There are some that are from Walter's Gardens and not proven winners, but we're going to give you a growing guide on every variety along with zones, deer resistance, water conditions, and so on and so forth. So let's get right into it. Pink muleygrass. Here in the south, in our zone, they do excellent and they are popular. We sell, out of all the annuals we sell, our top seller by a mile. People love it. They know it. You can see it in commercial landscapes, and you can see it in, I don't know if technically they'll be called xeriscapes, but essentially very low maintenance landscapes that don't get water. Because once they're established, they're extremely drought tolerant. And the pink muleygrass, essentially, the fun part about it is that they create this cotton candy-like beautiful plumes that in the wind, they just look really stunning and they really stand out. If you plant this one in a grouping, 3 or 5, you'll get these big plumes. It just looks stunning and beautiful. So I love that plant. People love it here in the south. Growing zones, let me mention, because these are perennials, 5 through 9 is pink muleygrass growing zones. So quite a bit. All right, the next one is double-coated raspberry beret coneflower or echinacea. This one is a proven winners. We sell it in a gallon, but check it out. If you're not local, check out your nurseries if they're carrying it. Beautiful plant. I did a video last year with Greg from Power Planter, sent us a drill and an auger, and it was amazing. And we were drilling some holes and planting this one, and we were planting I believe it was the double bubblegum as well from Proven Winners. Plants are a beast. Echinaceas, I love that this one stays tidier because I do have the traditional, the Echinacea purpurea or the purple one. You can grow from seed and whatnot, but that one does get upwards of almost even sometimes 3.5, 4 feet tall. This one stays tidier, a more dense habit, so you could afford planting this one not quite as a border plant, but in between, right? So it's a little shallower. So if you're trying to get your layering in your landscape beds, you can plant this one in the front, or you can plant it more in the middle and put something just a little shorter in the front. This one is the double-coated echinacea. I'll tell you, it grows 18 to 20 inches tall, 22 to 24 inches wide. So this one actually is pretty well behaved and pretty tame. Zoned hardiness. This is impressive. Zones 4A through 8B. So you got quite a lot of the U.S. can grow this. Okay, another top seller. You guys are probably familiar with this one, but echinacea, deer resistant as well. Muleygrasses too, and nepeta, catmint nepeta. This one is the cat's pajamas nepeta. Bear just barked because he loves this plant. No, I don't know why he barked, but this plant is beautiful. If you like lavender, but you don't like the fuss of growing lavender, I would suggest this plant. So this one is very easy to grow. After it blooms the first time, you can shear the blooms back. So just cut them to like half the plant or where the blooms start. It will flush another bloom set. And you might be able to even get a third one depending on how the season goes. But water requirements for this one, it does not require super fertile or great soil, and it also doesn't require a ton of water once established. This is an excellent plant, zones 3A through 8B. So, man, that can take some cold. This plant is tough, easy to grow, great in borders. And I would think that plant, the catmint nepeta, great in borders because it's so tidy. They also have the cat's pajamas that it's looser and a little bigger. This one is going to be a little more compact. So the next one is going to be, and I really think these two would look beautiful together because of the purple and yellow, is Tuscan Sun Perennial Sunflower. This one also is deer resistant, not proof. It does well. Do you see a theme here? Because we have deer issues here, so we try to grow things at our nursery too that I don't have to build a giant fence to have to deal with them. But this one is a beautiful plant. It grows 24 to 36 inches tall, and the spread is 20 to 24 wide. So it will be a little taller than wide. And let me get you the garden zones, 3A to 9B. So it is just a beautiful, dense golden yellow. So if you like that golden yellow hue, I really think from a distance, this one shows up. And planting something like the nepeta in front of it, I would think purple and yellow, because they're complementary, would be beautiful. The next plant, probably one of my favorites, Banana Cream Shasta Daisy 2, version number dos. And this one is 20 to 24 inches tall and 20 to 22 wide. It will start, and I can't remember how this one starts. If it starts a yellowier and then fades out into cream or cream and yellow. I have some in our garden and I don't even remember. But every time it'll bloom, after it blooms the first time, you can shear and just kind of cut all the blooms. Even if you have a few nice ones, sacrifice them, cut the whole plant, it will flush again. And in our zone, it stayed evergreen for us. I'm not sure in your zone if it will or not, but in our zone, it stayed pretty evergreen, which is fun because we had some winter interest from them. Hardiness zone is 5A through 9B. So again, great plant. Deer did not bother this one, at least for us. Here's another one that deer doesn't bother for us at all. I love this plant. Probably one of my favorite. I don't know why. These little lollipop blooms, but it's Serendipity Allium. It has these just lollipop blooms. You can plant it individually and it just looks beautiful, or you can plant it in a clump, 3, 5. I always like to plant in odd numbers just because it doesn't look as, I don't know, it looks more natural and doesn't to me. But it creates these lollipop blooms, and when it doesn't have the blooms, it has this strappy grass-like texture. So it looks beautiful also in a border. So you can put it in the border of a bed and then kind of push that border in, and then you can even put like a nepeta in front of that. So you can kind of layer it and mess around and have different textures. You can have, the nepeta has smaller, I wouldn't say like bold leaves when it's not blooming, but mix and play around with textures. This one can go in a more structured garden. Also, it can go in a more cottage-style garden. It's beautiful. Next one is Pink a Blue, Pulmonaria, longwort. So this plant, really, it's known for its beautiful leaves. Pulmonaria, lungs, right? It looks like lungs. That's where it gets the name from. But Pink a Blue, it gets the name from having the varied tones in the blooms. It has that, almost they look like blueberries from a distance. And sometimes when you have a blueberry bush, you'll see that they have that kind of reddish hue, and then once they're ripe, they'll turn blue. It has very much that look to it. It looks like a dense blueberry bush in the shade, though. This one is a shade plant. 16 to 18 inches tall, 22 to 24 inches wide. And let me get to the garden zones because I never remember them. 3A to 9B. So you got quite a wide growing area. Another one of my favorites is Russian sage. Again, this one, deer resistant. Pulmonaria also is deer resistant, by the way. The last one that I mentioned. I love this Russian sage. I've grown other Russian sage. I like it. They get big, but they also flop if you water it too much. Sometimes it rains too much and they flop. And I don't love that about them. This one can still flop. I've had some of these flop, but we just shear them back and it's fine. It can still if there's a heavy rainpour or if our soil is too wet. But overall, they're very easy to grow. The blooms start from all the way from the bottom, and they look like lavender to a lot of people. So again, if you're looking for lavender-like things, and lavender's not the easiest to grow, in my opinion, in the landscape here, at least in our climate, because of our humidity too. They don't love it. Zones 4A to 9B for this one. Excellent plant. Really, really, really tough. It comes back reliably. You won't have to mess around with it too much. The next one that Holly is actually really excited about, it's another nepeta, but this one is Walter's Garden Walker's Low. Walker's Low has just a different habit than the nepeta or the cat's pajamas. Has a more, Holly loves the Mediterranean landscapes where you have a lot of that pea gravel and you have, those boxwoods, and then there's just lavender and other things. So we like that look, but I don't like to fuss around with lavender in the landscape because I haven't tried the Southern Living one. I can't remember the name of the variety that's supposed to do better in our clay soil. Haven't tried that one. I definitely would like to, but haven't tried it. Anyway, regardless, Walker's Low is a bit of a looser. It's bigger. Let me see here measurements-wise. I can't remember measurements or zones, so I'm reading these off. So it's 24 to 36 inches tall, so anywhere from 2 to 3 feet tall, and also it will spread 18 to 24 inches wide. So that's quite a difference compared to the nepeta catmint, cat's pajamas nepeta, which it's around, I don't know, a foot, 14 inches, somewhere like that. So the garden height for the cat's pajamas is 12 to 14 inches, and then tall, and 18 to 20 wide. Okay, here's another one. Actually, I'm really excited about this one. I want to plant it in my landscape this year. I don't have this one in our landscape yet. Storm Cloud Blue Star Amsonia, native perennial of the, well, it's a native, but it's perennial of the year, 1 gallon. And the Amsonia, when it starts to grow, it has almost black, really dark, maybe purple-green, not foliage, but stems, and then the blooms will come later. The blooms are star-like, very kind of lilac, white, purplish. There's a little bit of white in there. Blooms, and the plant's covered in them. It has a vase-like shape, almost similar to, not as tall maybe as Baptisia, but it has a very similar shape to it. Now, garden height will be 24 to 30 inches. Spread 38 to 42 inches. So it's periwinkle blue is technically the color. Let me get you the zones. 4A to 9B gardening zone, deer resistant, native plant, native to the Native America. So it grows really well here. You do want to give it full sun. I did forget most of the plants that I have mentioned are full sun plants except Pulmonaria. That is the only one that I mentioned thus far that is shade. Next we have the meant to be Queen Nectarine. We've not grown this one. Agastache or Agastache, however you want to pronounce it. Agastache. This one is a beautiful, actually it's a hyssop. Grows 30 to 36 inches tall, and it will grow 32 to 36 wide. I've not grown this one, but I know peach fuzz is the color of the year. So we wanted to carry this one to make sure that people get those peachy colors, because I know they're after peach purples, the bluish, even the like light yellows. People love those tones. So we've been trying to carry what the people want. Give the people what they want. The last perennial that we have in our offerings is the Achillea. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce Achillea, but Yarrow. I just pronounce it Yarrow. We've grown other Yarrow in the past. I love Yarrow. It has that beautiful fern-like foliage that even without the blooms is beautiful. But I love that when it after blooms, the blooms kind of dry out. They don't look dead and dry and sad, so you can actually leave them in the winter, and that's excellent. Yarrow is a tough plant, easy to grow. Soil requirements, it doesn't really even want to talk about that. It doesn't care. And also watering requirements. I will say you could probably, if it had too much water, give it root rot, but I don't think you need to even worry about that because it's pretty tough. But the blooms on this one, just beautiful. Peachy tones in many varieties. It has peachy and a little bit of like creamish yellow. And also Yarrow is, I can't remember if I mentioned it, it's deer and rabbit resistant. It is 32 to 36 inches tall, 28 to 32 inches wide. So that'll be the spread. Upright, it will be more of a thriller type habit. Very easy to grow. And then zones 3A to 8B. So again, most of the plants that we have here that we're carrying at the nursery will be deer resistant, and that's a little bit by design just to make it easier on us. But we do have methods of protecting things from the deer. Again, we are a local nursery, so everything that we're offering I wanted to talk about on the videos here so that you guys know how to grow them. Us as the grower, we get to learn one by trial and error really with these plants. As we start to grow them, we learn their personalities a little bit, and as we kill many plants, not on purpose, but when you kill plants, you learn as a grower. So don't think that just because, you see people that are growing on a commercial level that they don't kill plants. No, we've actually killed many, and that's how we learn. So anyway, head to setapartfarmandgardens.com if you're interested in pre-ordering plants. If you're within the vicinity of Greenville or 50-mile radius, South Carolina, that is. And if not, feel free to check out your local garden centers to see if they're carrying any of these or if you want to get them online. I know there's some online retailers that sell these plants. A lot of people, especially the online ones, are offering their pre-order sales now as well. So it's typically you get better pricing with pre-orders just in general in the plant world. It's pretty common to do pre-orders with that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.